Hey everyone, with 2023 coming to an end, a lot of folks, including myself, like to take some time to start business planning for next year. And I actually had a call with our company today, and I was explaining that myself, at the end of every year, I take 2 to 3 days, I put myself in a room, I actually go to the library, and I have white sheets of paper and I start brain dumping. And when I start brain dumping, I start then segmenting these thoughts of what is important to me and what we're working on to gather my thoughts and organize them to where I start putting my 2024 roadmap together. I think it's very important to understand a couple different things. One, never overdo it. And what I mean by that is, if you start thinking about 40 things that you want to do in 2024, you're never going to accomplish your goal. We need to start understanding that even if you tackle 2 to 3 projects a quarter and knock out 8 to 12 projects that get your business better, that is a massive win. Because most people work busy into the day and don't work on their projects. They find excuses. Oh, I was doing this, I was doing that. Projects are the busy work. And if you accomplish 8 to 12 projects a year, you are way ahead of the curve. So start simplifying what your goals will be in 2024. The second thing is, don't look at the full year of what you're going to accomplish. Things change throughout the year. Think about what's important for you to accomplish in 2024, but start dividing up the year by quarters. So let's say, for example, I'm looking at 10 things that I want to get done that are going to require time and are considered a project. I'm going to look at those 10 things and say, what is the closest low-hanging fruit right now for Q1 that I want to get done and out the door so I can start working on these? That becomes your first project for quarter one. But don't think about the year as the year in itself, because things are going to shift. Everything changes throughout the year. And if we start looking at quarters instead of an annual thing that we're going to get done, it allows us to pivot when we need to pivot. But the third and most important thing, there are projects and there are tasks, and they are completely different things. So when you go to goal plan for 2024 this month, I want you to start separating a project versus a task, and I'm gonna explain the difference. Okay, so forgive my handwriting. I should have been a doctor, not an agent, but here's the difference. You got tasks and you have projects. Tasks are things that can be reorganized daily by priority. Your calendar, as an example, are tasks that you have to do throughout that day or upcoming for the week. But tasks can be shuffled. Tasks are things that you have to do. For example, I got a showing today, I gotta call my hot code clients, I have an inspection on 75th Street at 2 p.m. and I'm closing on Main Street at 4 p.m. Okay, great. These are my daily tasks that I gotta do. These are when you make an appointment with somebody. Like, things can shuffle when you talk about tasks. This is the day-to-day. These, they don't change and they don't shuffle. These are projects. These are the things that you're working on that take time. Projects are done over a certain period of time depending on the project itself. For example, past client marketing campaign, marketing plan for farming in Paradise Valley, client appreciation event schedule. Every one of these is going to take time, and every one of these are going to have certain elements to the project that we have to accomplish. Let's think about this. Past client marketing campaign. Okay, my goal with this past client marketing campaign is to re-engage my past clients through a series of marketing efforts so I can try to generate more referrals from my past clients. So what is that? That's my goal. In order to achieve that goal, what are some of the things that I have to do? 1, I gotta identify my list. 2, what events and what marketing components is this going to consist of? Is it going to consist of phone calls, events, email, newsletter? And then when am I going to do them? What's the cadence of these events? So the first thing I have to do is I got to create the plan for this project, or the wireframe, the roadmap. And it's going to consist of these segments, and this is when I'm going to do these segments. What it also is going to require is I got to build some assets. So for example, if a newsletter is part of this past client marketing campaign, I got to create a newsletter. great. If I'm gonna create a newsletter, that's gonna take me 3 weeks. But that's just part of the overall project. And so when we talk about a project, the first thing is, what's the goal? What is the end in mind? What are we trying to do? And as we start working on these things, the most important thing about a project is, when is my deliverables? When are they due? This is why projects should be done in quarters, not by weeks or sometimes even a month. They can take time, but here's the kicker. When the project is done and you put it on autopilot, it should just work. So for this past client campaign, it's gonna take me 6 weeks. Okay, so in 6 weeks, I want the full past client marketing campaign complete, which means I gotta do my newsletter, create my emails, craft my text messages, figure out when I'm gonna make my phone calls. I may do that on their birthday and their home closing anniversary. I gotta piece together what I'm gonna do to create more engagement with my past clients. Then I need to figure out when I'm gonna deploy those things to my past clients. And once we build the assets, we can now start piecing together when they're going to get deployed. Here's the kicker. Once you have that schedule of deployment, which will be on a calendar, you never have to think about it again because it's on your calendar. You've built the project, it's done. Now all you gotta do is click the button. You're following your own guideline for this project because you created the assets, you know when you're gonna send the assets, and you now have put them on a calendar to when those assets get deployed. That's why this project could take 6 to 8 weeks, because I gotta build all this stuff. But once I build it, now it can go on autopilot. Here's the problem. This is the busy work. This is the no fun work. This is the work that people don't do because they say, I was busy today. Well, I woke up and I went to the office, checked my emails, made a couple calls. I had a few showings today. It was a great day. That's not a full day of work. If you wake up in the morning and you look at your calendar and you have 2 showings and maybe an inspection, that is not a full day of work. But most people consider it a full day of work because they're not working on any projects, and these projects are what build and catapult you to the next level of your career. This isn't the fun work. This is the busy work. Those that do the busy work and are disciplined to do the busy work always find themselves achieving the next level of their career. And if you are disciplined and you will do the busy work, keep in mind, these projects take time. That's why I say, if you do 2 projects a quarter, you're ahead of the game. Versus this agent right here, this is the agent that hits $15 to $18 million a year in production and can't break through because they haven't built the right systems and foundation to break through. This is the agent that makes their 200, 300 grand a year consistently and is always wondering, I just can't get to 30 million. You're not getting to 30 million because you're not working on projects to build your business. This is the hard work. This is the busy work. This stuff is just stuff that you have to do in order to make a living. But there's levels that you can achieve by only working in the busy day-to-day versus actually building projects that can take you to the next level of your career. So when you go to game plan for 2024, start thinking about what you need to do to build your business through projects. The projects will get you to the next level.